Good morning, and thanks for watching another Glenn Maney Talks Chelsea. Going to be tough. Going to be tough to talk about last night. Last night it was in the FA Cup fifth round. It was Barnsley 0, Chelsea 1. And first of all, hats off big time to Barnsley. It was really their cup final, wasn't it? And they were on it. I thought they'd tire last 20. I thought, you know what? Last 20 minutes, Chelsea are going to get about 6 here because of the effort that those boys put in. But no, they didn't. They were right at it, right till the end. And I think probably because it was only 1-0, they had the incentive to carry on going, didn't they? But boy, oh boy, oh boy, did them lads from Barnsley put a shift in. So first of all, hats off to Barnsley. But unless you were a Barnsley fan, that was a tough watch. You imagine the neutral watching Everton versus Tottenham the night before, and then watching that dirge last night, and that's all it was. And I feared that it could be like that because A, it was Barnsley's cup final, and B, we made 10 changes, quite rightly so. Not critical of that. Giving players that are, in many cases, hardly played game time. So, and it looked like that. That's exactly what it looked like. It looked like a group of players that hadn't played together for, well, a long while. And Tuchel made a change, changed it from a 3-5-2, or I always call it 5 at the back, really, because you got the wing backs. A 5, well, it was really a 5-4-1, but anyway, changed it to a flat back 4 in the second half, and that made a bit of an improvement for a while. But now Barnsley made it really, really tough. Without the ball, they were excellent. If they had a bit more quality with the ball, we'd be out this morning. And a decent save by Kepa. Yeah, it was straight at him, but it still had to be saved. And as we know from having seen Courtois, who's a much better goalkeeper, if your legs are open on that goal line, it's going in. So well done to Kepa. That was a decent save. So right, I'll just go through the. I'll tell you what did annoy me last night. Well, not annoy me, but Tammy Abraham, he got the man of the match. Fine, he did great defensive clearance with his head, and good goal, good team goal. Billy Gilmore doing one of the really good things he did last night. To Reece James, who made a big difference in that second half, and crossed, and Tammy finished it off. And I did like the fact that Tammy ran about 30 yards to get to that ball. So well done, Tammy. That was a lot better performance. You lot know that I'm not his biggest fan, and he was playing against Championship opposition. But no, I won't go there. Well done, Tammy Abraham. But I did think that N'Golo Kante's performance went under the radar, because out of all them poor performances out there last night, I thought N'Golo Kante played really, really well. In fact, he was my man of the match. He lost the ball twice, once early on and once quite late on. So probably that's stuck in a lot of people's memories. And a wayward pass. But the rest of the time, I thought he was absolutely excellent, breaking stuff up and also creating stuff. He was N'Golo was my man of the match personally. And that's no slant on Tammy. It was a close call, but for me it was Kante. Right, so let's have a look at what actually happened. Our tempo was slow, so it allowed Barnsley to cut down the space a lot. They covered so much. I'd love to know how much ground they covered, but our tempo was slow again. There were too many passes sideways again. And that's because people are under pressure. Christensen, I'd give him his due. He tried playing it forward a fair few times last night. I thought he was one of the better things that happened. But yeah, our tempo was slow. Our running off the ball wasn't great. Ziyech, I thought he had a mare not just because he only really put one decent dead ball in, and that was the one where Rudiger put it over with his head. Where I think if Zuma had got that, that'd have ripped the back of the net. But the fact that Ziyech didn't, I don't know. He just didn't, did he? He didn't. I don't know what he did. Apart from lose the ball 3 times in dangerous areas, no, he had a mare. He played like a bloke that's come back from injury and played very few minutes. So hopefully that's got that one out of his locker. So anyway, not a lot to talk about really. So I'm just going to go through the team. Kepa, excellent save. In the second half, we had Flapper Arrizabalaga again when he come out for that ball and Tammy ended up clearing it. The boy doesn't convince me as a top goalkeeper, I'm sorry. But it was a good save. And so just for that save alone, I'm going to give Kepa a 6.5. Hasn't played a lot either, so you've got to give him credit where credit's due. His distribution, I thought, was very good. But then again, Kepa's distribution is normally top notch. But no, 6.5. I'll give him. In fact, you know what? I'm going to give him a 7 because of his distribution as well. So Kepa gets a 7 from me. Now, who did we have at the back? We started off with Callum Hudson-Odoi, who played really, really well last time he played at wing back. But because Ziyech was either so lazy or was making bad decisions, Callum Hudson-Odoi was under a lot of pressure. Tried getting forward, but in that first half, he was under a lot of pressure. In the second half, he was switched over when Reece came on, and Hakim Ziyech went off. He was switched over to the other wing. Looked quite dangerous. Couple of good balls. Again, trying to do too much. I think he looked at those around him and thought, you know what, I'm going to do something here. Beat his men well, and then a couple of skied shots, but not bad. He was sharpish, and the first half wasn't down to him. So I'm going to give him a 6.5. In the middle, we had Christensen. I thought Christensen done well last night. I thought he looked best of a bad bunch at the back there. That's a bit unfair on Zuma. Zuma didn't really put a foot wrong, did he? Yeah. So Christensen gets a 7 from me anyway. I thought he looked stronger. He looked stronger than he has done, and his concentration had to be there because they were on it all the time, weren't they? One poor ball I can remember, but crikey, that was good last night out of our lot because there were some lousy passes there. We had Zuma. Zuma looked like a player that hadn't played for weeks, but still put a shift in. Can't remember him doing anything wrong. Always stuck with a man at set pieces. Zuma did okay. Zuma's going to get a 6.5. He did okay. Rudiger did all right. Got up for that header. I thought he should have scored. Defensively, left his man a couple of times, but I expect that from Rudy. Several really poor passes, and when he did try playing it forward, but you didn't know if it was a forward pass or a shot, from 60, 70 yards. Rudy gets a 6 from me. It wasn't a bad performance, but under pressure he looked ruffled a few times, which I would have done as well, to be honest. But there you go. I don't get paid the big bucks, and I'm not a German international, am I? Alonso was woeful last night. No surprise at all when I took him off. I think they took him off tactically, but he was woeful. The save from Kepa should have been cleared. He should have been goal side of his man. But Marco Alonso, as we've all said, good wing back, lousy defender, and I mean lousy defender. And showed it again last night. So thanks to Kepa, it Didn't cost us. Alonso gets a 5 from me. Yeah, 5. You could be no better than that. Billy Gilmore in midfield last night played like a player that's played about twice in 7 months. Did a lot of good things, and a lot of things were off. His game was off. Tried playing it forward a fair few times. Excellent pass to Reece James for the goal. A couple of other passes where if our forwards had been running onto them, I think he thinks a little bit too fast for our forwards sometimes. I think if you had a world class, or even I know you're going to laugh. Even if you had Timo Werner, who would have got on a couple of billies through balls last night. Lost the ball a couple of times in dangerous areas, and wasn't fully on the ball. But I'll tell you what, when he loses it, he gets back a couple of times. He just, because he's not got a lot of physique, he just got pushed away again. But he's up, he's trying to win the ball back, and a couple of times he put in great tackles and got back. Wasn't Billy's best game, but he gave it his all. Billy Gilmore gets a 6.5 from me. Probably a little bit low, just because I know he can do so much better. I rate him so highly, as you all know. Kante. Yeah, Kante, I'm going to give an 8, and he was my man of the match. I've already covered his game. He lost it a couple of times, a couple of poor passes, but the rest of the game was excellent, actually. Both breaking stuff up and going forward. So, yeah, Kante, we'll go with an 8. Yeah, then we had Ziyech. Well, we've already gone over his game. Very, very poor last night. Very poor for such a quality player. And for that reason, I'm not going to keep on hammering the boy, but he gets a 4 from me last night. I thought he was pretty poor. And I do question when things aren't going well for him. I mean, a couple of times he lost the ball and he just threw his hands up in the air, and he was obviously frustrated, but can't afford to do that, especially not when the other side are pressing like Barnsley press. You've got to get back goal side, no matter how frustrated you are or how fed up you are with your own performance. You have to get back, and he didn't. So yeah, 4. I thought he was really poor last night. And then we've got Christian Pulisic. Didn't have a great game. Looked like a guy who hasn't played a lot of minutes, and he hasn't under Tuchel, which is a bit of a worry for me because, again, I rate the lad highly. It's one of these, it's a problem Frank had, isn't it? Such a big squad, how do you keep them all happy? But he looked poor last night. I thought he'd pulled his hamstring again. I see him wince, and here we go. Another 6 weeks out. But he carried on. He seemed to run through it, so hopefully it's not an injury. But yeah, pretty poor by Christian's standards. Didn't gamble on space like he normally does. Unlucky, there was a ball that went across that he tried. I think it might have been Callum Hudson-Odoi that put it in. That he nearly got on the end of at the back post. But that was it really. He got back and defended. It wasn't a question of not trying. It was just a poor game by his standards. He gets a 5.5 from me last night, Christian Pulisic. And Tammy Abraham, scored a goal. Great clearance. Hold-up play was a mixed bag. A couple of times he did really well. And a couple of times he just didn't stick to him. But, the ground weren't great, let's be honest. The actual pitch wasn't great. I know it's the same for both sides, but when you play on a bog every week, you get used to it. You adapt your play to it. It suited them. it didn't help people, particularly Tammy holding the ball up. But no, he done good. The boy did well. Do you know what? I know I sometimes slate him for his finishing and his movement, but you get 100% out of him most of the time. And he put a proper shift in last night. For that reason, he gets a 8 along with N'Golo Kante for me. But I just give N'Golo Kante man a match because he was on it all the while. So I thought he was one of the reasons we eventually got through. But so was Tammy. So Tammy gets an 8 as well. I'm not going to score the subs, although I will say Reece James made a hell of a difference. When he came on. So yeah, all good. That's me really. There's not a lot more you can say about that. It was. Oh, I'll tell you what I did. What did make me smile? Phillips when he came on, a substitute for Barnsley. Because I thought to myself, he's got the maney gene, I think, because he's not a looker. But it's the fact, his hairstyle. I thought to myself, what's he asked for when he's gone down the barbers? I bet he said, "I'll have one of them Elizabeth the Firsts, please." That made me chuckle. So I thought to myself, that's probably the highlight of the game for me. That's how bad the game was. But let's take the positives out of it. And we're through to the next round. And we've got Sheffield United at home. And I would hope that we put a first team out and get into the semi-finals of the FA Cup, which I think we should do if we put a first team out. But the boys got minutes last night. I can understand why Tuchel did everything. I didn't score Tuchel, did I? I'm going to give him a 7 because half-time he sussed out what was wrong and did his best to put it right. He can't play the game for the players. He can't keep composure or hit a long ball when you want to beat their press. But he did what he needed to do. So yeah, we're through to the next round, onwards and upwards. I shall speak to you after that. I think it's Newcastle on Monday night. I think it is. I'll speak to you after that. There might be another video out coming in between. I'm doing one on my worst ever Chelsea side and my best ever Chelsea side. Actual teams, not best 11 or whatever, but who I've actually watched and doing it to see what you lot think because you'll all have different views on it. Okay, so that's me, and I'll speak to you soon. Up to Chelsea.